Ever noticed that feeling? You're in a conversation, maybe with a friend or even in a group, and suddenly, silence. The air gets thick, your mind starts racing, and you feel this overwhelming urge to just say something, anything, to fill the void. It's a super common experience, but have you ever stopped to wonder why silence can feel so incredibly uncomfortable? It's not just you. There are real psychological and evolutionary reasons behind this. First, let's talk about our brains. Our brains are basically prediction machines. They're constantly scanning the environment, looking for patterns, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. In a conversation, the back and forth of talking is a predictable rhythm. When that rhythm is broken by silence, it's like a glitch in the matrix for our brains. It signals that something is wrong or unexpected. This uncertainty can trigger a mild stress response, making us feel anxious and on edge. Your brain is essentially asking, "Wait, what's happening? Did I say something wrong? Are they mad at me?" This ties into our deep-seated need for social connection. As humans, we are fundamentally social creatures. For our ancestors, being part of a group was essential for survival. Being accepted meant protection, resources, and a better chance of passing on your genes. Being ostracized or rejected was, quite literally, a death sentence. So we've evolved to be incredibly sensitive to social cues that might indicate our standing within a group. In a conversation, silence can feel like a form of social rejection. We interpret it as a sign of disapproval, disagreement, or a breakdown in communication. We worry that the other person is judging us or has lost interest. This fear of being negatively evaluated is a powerful driver of social anxiety. We feel the need to fill the silence to prove our worth, to show we're engaging and interesting, and to repair the perceived social rupture before we get kicked out of the tribe. Think about it from an evolutionary perspective. In the wild, silence often means danger. The sudden quiet in a forest could signal a predator is nearby. The birds stop chirping, the insects go quiet. It's a universal warning sign. Our nervous systems are still wired with this ancient programming. So, an unexpected silence, even in a safe, modern setting like a coffee shop, can subconsciously put our bodies on high alert, activating that fight or flight response. We don't feel a predator is about to pounce, but we feel that same underlying sense of unease. Another fascinating aspect is self-consciousness. When the external noise of conversation stops, our attention often turns inward. Suddenly, you're acutely aware of yourself, your thoughts, your breathing. For many people, this internal focus can be uncomfortable. We might start overthinking what we just said, worrying about how we look, or cringing at a past mistake. The silence becomes a spotlight, and we're standing alone on stage with our own inner critic. Filling the silence is a way to direct that spotlight back outward, away from ourselves and our insecurities. Of course, the meaning of silence is also heavily shaped by culture. In many Western cultures, like the United States and parts of Europe, conversation is often fast-paced. Silence can be interpreted as a lack of engagement or a problem. We value quick wit and continuous dialogue. However, in many other cultures, particularly in East Asia and some indigenous communities, silence is valued differently. It can be a sign of respect, thoughtfulness, and comfort. It doesn't need to be filled because it is seen as a natural and meaningful part of communication. So if you're in a cross-cultural conversation, a pause that feels awkward to you might feel perfectly normal to the other person. So if silence makes us so uncomfortable, what can we do about it? The first step is simply awareness. Recognizing why you feel that urge to fill the void can take away some of its power. Understand that it's a mix of brain chemistry, evolutionary history, and social conditioning. It's not necessarily a reflection of reality. The next step is to practice. Try to reframe silence not as a void, but as a space. A space to think, to breathe, to truly listen. When a pause happens in a conversation, instead of panicking, take a deep breath. Make eye contact and offer a small, reassuring smile. This non-verbal cue can signal that you're still engaged and comfortable, which in turn can help the other person relax too. You'll often find that the other person was just gathering their thoughts, and by giving them that space, you can lead the conversation to a deeper, more meaningful place. You can even practice with yourself. Try spending just 5 minutes a day in total silence, without your phone, music, or any distractions. At first, it might feel strange, but over time, you can learn to be more comfortable in your own quiet company. This practice can reduce that feeling of self-consciousness when silence appears in social situations. Ultimately, learning to embrace silence is a powerful social skill. It can make you a better listener, a more thoughtful conversationalist, and a more calming presence to be around. It shows confidence. It shows you're not afraid of a little space. So the next time that awkward pause descends, try to resist the urge to fill it. See what happens when you just let it be. You might be surprised by the connection that can grow in that quiet space. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this interesting, give this video a like and consider subscribing for more insights into psychology and human behavior. See you next time.